Hello, I'm Ed Overstreet, excuse me, and welcome to the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel. We're working in PixInsight on a deep space object NGC 7822, and we are going to head over to PixInsight, share my screen, and pick up where we left off. In our prior video, we had a green color cast after we stretched the image that was pretty dominant, and so we made a decision to run the SCNR screen transfer function to delete it. Not delete it, but to remove the color cast, and this is what we ended up with. Now, I sometimes start working on the stars, but I think I'm going to wait until we've combined the luminance channel, because we did run deconvolution on the luminance channel, and it's going to have a positive effect on correcting some of the star issues that this image now has when we combine the luminous channel. So I think then would be a good time, once we've made that combination, to start working on the stars, tightening the stars up and fixing the color, any color cast that they might have. I don't see a magenta problem, but that often comes with the territory when you're using narrowband. So what I want to do now is I want to open up curves, and I'm going to tackle the color issues that I see, and I want to start with selecting the RGB/K option, and let's bring up a preview window. And I want to only work on this nebula. I really don't want to change the background. I'll try to work on the background kind of independent. So to do that, I'm going to bring up, and I don't really want this affecting my stars, so I'm going to bring up my Luminance Mask, and actually, I'm going to have to get rid of the preview mirror so we can see it. And I'm going to apply this Luminance Mask, which includes the nebula and the stars. And I'm going to apply that by dragging this over and dropping this. Incidentally, when I drag it over, you'll see a square box. That means it has found its home. And when I let go, this bar will change from this gray color to a brown color. So we have successfully applied the mask. Now, don't delete the mask. I just minimize it and send it over here where it's homed. And I could work on this image with the mask being revealed, but what you're going to see with this mask is what part of the image is going to be worked with. The red part is concealing the data, so anything I make, any changes I make, is going to be made on all the non-red parts of the image. And you can see that the nebula has a combination, it has some red in it. So even the changes that I make on this nebula-rich mask is going to affect some of the nebula, so we have to be careful that we don't screw that up. But in order to work on this, I'm just going to go ahead and go up to Mask, and I'm going to uncheck Show Mask. So it's there. We know it's there. It's still we still have this brown bar, but you don't see it. Now we'll bring up our preview window, and we're going to take curves. We're going to go over to, well, let's take this and make a contrast curve. I'm going to bring on the dark side. Keep in mind, this linear curve represents light. On this horizontal bar represents light. You can't hardly see at the very bottom, but you've got from very dark black to very bright over here, and I think that's level like 266 in luminosity. So this area that we're looking at represents the brighter side of the image, and this area here will represent the darker side, and of course the middle area is kind of the midtones. So I'm going to draw or click on here, and I'm going to drop the darker sides down. That's too much. About there. Make a slight S curve, and then I'm going to go up and make another click, and I'm going to bring the brights kind of up. I may even bring the midtones up just a tad. And that's a slight modification. I'm going to click OK, and I may do it twice. Nope, that's it. So I'm going to reset this. I'm going to go to the saturation S and create this curve, and I'm going to drop an anchor point right in the center and hold my mouse down, and I'm going to pull that up to about there, and I'm going to apply some saturation to the existing colors without doing too much damage to the background. They'll have some effect, but then we're going to work on the background later. Okay, so we have affected the saturation. Now watch the curve here. When I click on parts of this, you can see the area of luminosity showing up. So let's take a point about right there. Let's see how close we are. I think I went up too far. That's about right. Alright, let's put an anchor point there and an anchor point here, and let's just drop this down just a little bit. And we're affecting these colors right here with this curve. I'm going to apply it. Are these not color so much, this level of luminosity? No, I'll take that back. I thought I was levels of luminosity. I still have the saturation curve. That's what my grandkids say, my bad. Alright, let's reset that. I don't think I did any damage. Now let's go back to the RGB K, and that makes more sense. Okay, there's our 3 channels showing up. Alright. Okay, let's pick about right there. Let's put an anchor point there, one there, and let's just kind of drop this down just a tad, because I feel like I raised the luminosity of this too much. I may do this 2 times. You really slow down your computer when you're working with drizzled data. Okay, let's do it one more time. Alrighty, now let's close down curves and let's bring up saturation, and I already have a bunch of anchor points, but let's click here, okay, we put an anchor point right there, and I'm going to put one right there and here, and I'm going to create a let's get rid of this preview and let's create another one, start fresh, and I'm going to take this, double check, make sure I got the right, okay, let's take this preview, or not preview, this part of the saturation adjustment. I had to interrupt you there for a minute. My granddaughter was calling me, and that stops everything. Okay, I have taken the saturation on these colors here up, and I don't want to go too far. It may even be too far. And then I want to get the blues, and do some selective, and that's right here. I want a couple anchor points on both sides of that so they'll stay still, and I'm going to bring this up and bring out the blues a little more, and let's apply that. Keep in mind we have a luminosity mask on that's protecting the stars in the background. Okay, now let's go down to this blue, same thing. Let's go down to this orange, same thing. Okay, let's see what our background is. Our background's got a lot of red in it. We already knew that. So while we're on this, I'm going to put a anchor where this red is. Let me get rid of this preview, and let's take the mask and invert it. So now we're more interested in working with the background, and let's find and the background all over the place, but I'm going to set anchor points about here and here, and I'm going to bring this up. Now bring this down to about desaturate, and I need to bring up my preview mirror to see what I've done. So we're desaturating these colors in the background, and we're going to apply that. Okay, we can close out the saturation tool and our preview window. We can also close out or remove this mask, and I want to create a star mask, and I'm going to bring this star mask up, and you can find this in process, all processes, and scroll down till you come to star mask. But we do have it open, so I usually stay with these defaults. Generally it makes a pretty decent mask, so let's give it a whirl. I just drag the process on top of my image. Okay, it took a few minutes, so I put the video on pause, and here is our star mask, and I'm going to apply it so that we're only going to be working on the stars. And I'm going to minimize. This is star mask 2. Remember, we had another star mask with much smaller stars that we created earlier when we ran our deconvolution. So with this star mask, though, I have some haloing going on, and so what I want to do is I'm going to bring up saturation for my stars and create a preview, and I'm going to drag down. I got some of these oranges, and I want to drag down just a little of the orange color around the stars, and I also want to enhance some of the blues that are missing, and I'm going to remove a little of the green, which will, between the green and the blue, and I want to add some tad of red from, there you go. Okay, let's apply this to, okay, I like that. I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, we're going to close this out, and for now that's all the work that we're going to be doing on the color. When we come back, we're going to combine the luminance channel, and then we're going to work on some of the detail in the nebula. We're going to work on the star sharpness, and we're going to do noise reduction. So with that being said, have a great day. Make sure you say something nice to somebody, and you're both going to feel better by having done that.